Howdy. Good afternoon, Rogue. Hello. Pink wave back at ya. Dusty desk. Right. How is everyone doing? Hopefully you can hear me okay. If you can't, basically I've tried to be clever here. I've moved the microphone a bit further away from my face. So, hey Andrea. So my tablet isn't obscured. You can't really see because it's kind of down here, but before the mic is in the way and it's all fiddly. So the mic's a bit further away. So if I'm a bit quieter, shout and I will turn it up. Sounds fine. I'll try and speak nice and loud anyway, Rob. I don't know what this is. Speaking louder, apparently. But if I start muttering to myself, which has been known, just yell at me, just bark at me or throw things at the screen. Hey, Victoria. Good to see you again. I made it. Excellent. Fantastique. Right. Hopefully I've not forgotten anything. I've got that weird feeling. But this is going to be part 3 of this little foray into logo design with Affinity. I'm getting more used to it now. I'm getting there. It's got some things that are different about Illustrator that I do rather like. Illustrator's still second nature to me. Goodness me, my eyesight's terrible. But I'm starting to get used to some of the differences with Affinity. And it's not really stopped me throughout this process. So I think, where did we get to? Part 2, I think, ended where we did these. We had these 3 versions. I did a bit more work off stream because I usually do find that I get more ideas when I'm not doing it live, because I don't have to think about talking and stuff at the same time. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with where it's landed, if I'm honest. So we'll see what you think to the iterations. I'll go through the process and how it's evolved, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe we do some mock-ups. I don't know. We'll see. I started to not see the screen clearly anymore. Do you know, Andrea, the only reason I've got glasses is because I went to get an eye test because I wanted to wear them. I've always thought glasses look really cool. I quite like how glasses look. And then it turns out my eyesight was awful. And they were like, no, you need glasses, Dan. So, oh, okay, win-win. But now when you do like now I'm looking at this 4K screen and I can see the 4K-ness. And if I do that, it's like, oh, dear me. That's like 540p. Goodness. So we can't do that anymore. So yeah, it didn't matter, Andrew. I got what I wanted. I wanted glasses, and if I have to have bad eyesight to have glasses, so be it. Anyway, right, where did we start? This is like the 3rd stream on this. So we started with, for anyone who's new here, or this is your first time catching up with this, hello, first of all. But this logo here, I saw this when I was driving the other day, and it stood out to me just because I thought it was not great, being as polite as I can. Enviromech. So they do commercial mechanical services specializing in design, installation, and maintenance of air conditioning, ventilation, heat pumps, and cooling systems for buildings, or commercial buildings. So what I did was I effectively took their logo, took their existing website, dumped it all into ChatGPT, and then got it to write a short brief. So this isn't coming from an actual client. They don't know I'm doing this, hopefully. Maybe they will at some point. We'll see. Surprise reband, by the way. Yeah, but this was kind of what it spat out. And it's nice to have it in this short form as well, because it's very easy to reference. So as I was working through the different designs, you can quickly hop back to this, and I've highlighted keywords as well. So these are words that might be repeated often, or things that I deem especially relevant to when I come up with designs and ideas. So then we kind of extrapolate that into a bit of word mapping or mind mapping, whatever you want to call it, word association. And effectively we take some of the main ones that we've highlighted, we put them on a different sheet, we circle them, and then we draw lines that shoot off from them with ideas. So this is kind of the written form of your brainstorming. So we're not sketching yet, we're just writing the words down. And as you can see here, Certain words like fan, that kind of came off both of airflow and mechanical, that could be relevant. So we kind of connect them. Heat waves connects to pretty much everything. And by doing this, we can start to not only formulate ideas, but possible directions that we go with this. So the idea of direction, flow, and dial, they were the ones that stood out to me. And I'll be honest, this entire process, we speed ran this. This is such a small kind of word map, really. Like, you know, usually I would spend a lot longer coming up with ideas, and this thing here would probably be a very long client questionnaire full of answers. So it was kind of like a stripped down version, but the process is the same. You just kind of on a bigger scale. And right, this, oh goodness, we're a bit all over the place here. We've gone in multiple directions. I think, if I'm right, we started somewhere here. I think this was the starting point. I should like draw an arrow with the root. So yeah, it can be tempting to jump into this and start making designs like this. And you can do that because the shape tools do make it easier to quickly throw together circles and shapes and visualize like a high fidelity design. But I do think sketching is just super powerful because it's so easy to just sketch ideas. There you go, there's an idea. But it's just so easy. And if you've got like a graphics tablet or a pen display or an iPad, you just, you know, for me, going from your brain through a stylus to a screen or to paper, whatever it is, it's just so much more. It's just such a quicker, streamlined process to get your ideas onto a surface. Whereas kind of grabbing tools and drawing and dragging and that comes later. But you can see here, and these sketches, they're crap. Like, they are crap. It doesn't matter that they're crap. I know on Instagram it's very easy to kind of come across very nice, polished sketches. And I'm sure that's fine. But for me, when I sketch, it's not for anyone else to see. So I don't try and, you know, tart them up and make them look the bee's knees. They just need to do one thing for me. Tell me if an idea is worth pursuing. Because before I go and digitalize something, that's a hard word to say, digitalize something, I got to at least get it working as a sketch, right? If I can't get it looking half decent as a sketch, I'm not going to waste my time making it. Ding dong. Is that you, Kaya? Why are you anonymous _9889? I wish it put back people's names. YouTube, what have you done? You've ruined streaming. You need to put it back so I can actually see people's names. I'm not. Wait, what? There's a Kaya here and there's an anonymous. What's happening? Who's me? I don't know who me is. We've got another ding donger. Oh no. Hey Gary. I'm not early, I'm just on time. I'm confused now. So yeah, sketching is super, super powerful. Hello, Reese. Wants to be able to yell at the right people. Exactly. I've got to know who I'm yelling at. I can't yell at anonymous _9889 if I don't know their name. Doesn't have the same effect. Oh dear. Or maybe I just use insults, just generic insults. Oi, you. Right, what was I saying? Excellent. Okay, Rax. We'll go with that. Yeah, so sketching is super important. Just to kind of get ideas, and you can see there's a few different ones here. Some of these. This one here is giving me PlayStation 1 Sony vibes with toothpaste. Just looking back at it now, because I've not looked at these for a few days. This one was kind of cool. We had the whole sort of flow, trying to represent flow. The brief or the very shortened brief. It didn't want to have any kind of stereotypical hot cold symbols, which I'm fine with because that's what the original has, and it is what it is. And we went down this route, didn't we? Quite early. This fan symbol did pop up quite early, and I do like this, and this will become more interesting later on because it does kind of have that flow, that graph of temperature, but it kind of turns into a fan blade, and I forget what it's called. Oh, is it an ambigram or something? I forget all the different names. There's a logo when you flip it around 180. It looks exactly the same. One of those. What else did we do? Oh yeah, we did more sketching down here. We did this was like an E for Enviromac. Because you've got the sustainable aspect as well. So it's kind of energy efficient, sustainable, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like green was on the cards to be one of the colors used. Hey, Pixel. We did go down the bird route. And I still think there is a design there that could have worked. So it was trying to sort of blend mechanical aspects, maybe fan blades, and flow with a bird representing the nature sustainable aspect, earth, whatever. And this is very origami-ish. There's some interesting designs here. I still think this could have worked. If I pursued this could have worked. And then we tried trying to have a bird head inside a flame. So not just slapping on a flame or a hot or cold icon, but trying to be a bit more creative. And this probably would have been green. So trying to merge the bird as the flame. Again, I think that could have worked. I did try a digital version somewhere. I don't know if I stuck it. Obviously using circles here, but I just once I mocked it up, it was like, not sure about that. Lots of other random little sketches. And ultimately, oh, here it is. Yeah. So you can see some of these. Some of these ended up being the sort of digitized versions, but I did abandon it kind of quickly. I got to like here and it was like, it's cool, but it's not right for this. But this is where we landed at the end of the stream last time, and it was pretty much an equal split. We did a poll. It looks like the old Twitter logo. Yeah, it's probably got a bit too much Twitter bird in it. So we did a poll, and it was pretty even. People didn't really feel either way about any of these, which was unfortunate, but good that it was honest, because we don't want to settle on something that's kind of half-baked as an idea. And oh yeah, on stream as well, we did custom lettering, didn't we? Where is the actual font? There is a font somewhere. Is it this one? No. Oh, where's the font? Oh no, I don't say I've lost the font. I don't suppose anyone can remember the font. Because this was a font. Is it over here? That one. Hey, there we go. Kotox. So this will be a fun comparison. So this was fine. And I know someone mentioned about customizing fonts in the Discord earlier. And this was a really good font, but what I will typically do, if I can't find a font that looks exactly how I want it, I will recreate the line work and then customize it. So if you look here, you can see this is the original font, and then this is the version that I created. So I started just by recreating it exactly as it was. Have I got that anywhere? Sort of here. Yeah, I think this is the original. So I created it like very square and then gradually rounded it off. Customized the E and the A to kind of make them my own. And I wanted a bit more curviness. So everything just got like maximum roundedness to it. And the final version actually ended up even rounder than that. Yeah, I think these are a little bit, these are quite similar, but then I did go and round it off a bit more. And so what I started playing around with, yeah, here we go. You can see, yeah, look at this. So this is kind of where it sort of started off stream. So is this rounder? No, it's exactly the same. Oh, sorry, wrong version. Yeah, here we go. So the bottom one's where it ended at the end of the stream, and then you can see here for the top one. Just by rounding things off, you just make it, you kind of keep that tech feel, but you just make it just feel a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, approachable. It kind of leans into the mark a little bit more as well, which does have a lot of curves in it. So between the mark and the type, you kind of have like a little bit more synergy. Whereas if this thing is like really sharp and angular and then the text is all curvy and flowing, sometimes you can get like a bit of a mismatch, you know? I'm not convinced by sans serif typefaces. They're difficult to read from a distance. Are they? I don't think it's necessarily the sans serif typeface. I mean, sans serif typefaces for digital, especially, a lot of them are selected because they are so much more readable than something like a serif. In fact, sans serif is probably the most easy to read out of the lot. If you take script, something more decorative, handwritten, or even serif, sans serif is probably the easiest, or it is. It's the easiest out of all of them to read. That, I mean, obviously within that there's like thousands of different types of fonts. Some are going to be a lot easier and harder to read than others. But this particular one, yeah, this isn't your standard like your Arial or your Lato into whatever. So this, yeah, it might be a little bit harder to read, but that's the great thing about creating the letters from scratch as well. I can adjust the width, I can make them a bit bolder if I need to, so you kind of get a bit more control. And this was a really cool point. This was a point where I did actually like this with the logo. So it was, what was it like before? I'm going to just butcher this a second, but it was, oh, what have I done? Let me try and show you how I made it. Is it this one? Yeah, so there was one of the designs over there somewhere that was just like that. And it was like, oh, this is fine. A little bit too floral. And as soon as I actually separated them, I was like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. That actually works. Chunked it up a little bit and played around with a few different versions. Rotated it 45 degrees, which this looks a little bit more flower to me. This looks a bit more fan-like. And then tried a whole bunch of different versions, trying to kind of make it, as you can see here, like a bit more fan. It's kind of a balancing act between mechanical fan and flower. So lots of different variations. I've got a circle up there as well. Don't know what this is. Terrible sketches. Again, just wrote. Sometimes a logo, all it needs for the mark is like a 45-degree or 90-degree rotation. We've done a photo manipulation stream already. I think maybe the next one we do will probably be something like that. We've done 3 logo ones for now, so we'll try and sort of mix it up because there's so much you can do in Affinity. I've been doing a lot of icons recently as well, so we could even do a stream on icons. Yeah, this is all custom lettering. So it's based on a font, but it's all custom. If you don't have experience working with letters, letter forms, typography, that sort of stuff, and you don't know terms like baseline, X height, cap line, how to kern things and adjust the spacing, don't go straight in and do custom lettering. Don't start doing all of this and drawing it. because you'll make so many typographical mistakes that you won't be aware of. Instead, just find a font you like that is similar to what you want to create, and then tweak it slightly and make small subtle tweaks. That's what I did with this one. This way you mitigate the chance you're going to kind of typographically screw it up, but also you get to create something custom as well. And sometimes you'll pick a font and you'll be like, that is the perfect font, but I hate that letter G. And then you just go and do a custom G. Because some fonts do have weird characters. So we did a few different colorways here. And so there's the original. I got to be honest, this is the one that I was pretty, I was going to say in love with. In love with the logo. Sorry, Pops. Yeah, for me, this one kind of, especially the mark here, I love the type. The type and the mark pair really well. This kind of communicates the fan aspect and the environmental aspect as well. It's kind of like a flower, but not so obviously a flower. Could I refine that more? Yeah, maybe. But hi, Manish. But yeah, just rotating it 45 degrees. I do like that. It feels really, really good. And this sort of mark would work really well on an app as well. I think it's kind of distinctive. What do you think is worth it? This new Affinity or Adobe Illustrator? That's a good question. It depends. It depends. First question, do you want to pay for it? Do you want to pay for your design software every month, or do you want it free? What features do you need? What type of design work are you going to be doing? Is it going to be logo design? If it is, then Affinity's probably got you covered, you know? If you're going to be using animation and doing video editing as well, you're probably going to need more. So the creative suite might be better, because then you go from Photoshop and Illustrator to After Effects to Premiere Pro. I'm hoping it will, Pixel. Yeah, I'm hoping it will. This was probably the first point in the process. Do you remember me saying before that, like, I will keep working on a logo until I look at it, a design, and go, that's the one. That has got something there. The first time I felt that was with the bird idea, but it didn't quite pan out that way. Got a few other wild ideas here, but once I got this one here, this whole right side was like, yep, we're downhill from here. We got an idea, we just got to tweak it. I love the lettering. So this is the one I'm going to run with, and we're going to try and do a bit more with this. I don't know what to do, actually. We could build this into like a presentation, like a logo design showcase. We could do that quickly. I've done a YouTube video on that recently, or we could do like a web mock-up, or we could do some AI mock-ups and quickly throw it on t-shirts and business cards and what have you. So maybe we need a new artboard first of all. So let's go and do that. In fact, where's my presets? There we go. Why have I only got digital presets? I need print presets. Okay, we'll go. Sorry, I know my paper sizes just about. I can still just about remember, and I've ruined my other artboard. That's a weird bug. What is happening? Okay, we'll click that. There we go. That gets around it. How bizarre. Right, what is it? 297mm wide and 210 high. That is A4 paper. Nothing's changing. Why is nothing changing? Width 24,000. That's incorrect. Let me try again. 297mm and 210mm. Ah, there we go. Is that me? I thought I was going mad then. So there we go. Yeah, cool. I don't trust. It's got a decimal point. I don't trust that that's accurate. Actually, no, we're going to do this slightly differently. This is a bit weird. This caught me out before. So this is an artboard, kind of like you would have an artboard in Illustrator. But you can also have pages. So if you're planning to export, like let's say like a logo design presentation as a PDF, you want to set it up as pages, not artboards. It's a bit weird. So the way I've got this set up now is like a canvas in Photoshop, just one single canvas. Then you can turn on artboards, and that's kind of like Illustrator. But then, yeah, multi-page. If you're like in designing and you want to export as a PDF, multi-page is what you want. You see, artboards become disabled. This confused me for a little bit. I was like, what's happening? But they are different. So if you want to have like master pages, for example, and have spreads and magazines, brochures, that sort of stuff, this is what you want, not artboards. Let's go A4 landscape. Yeah, we got all our preset sizes here. It's a bit weird because you've got effectively Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign all kind of in one thing. So yeah, there we go. So it kind of switches us to layout. This is your master pages. So we're basically in the InDesign equivalent now. So let's save this and we'll call it environment presentation. Let's never do that again. Anyway, what we did. Right, let's grab the logo. In fact, let's clean this up first. Yeah, I've not even cleaned this up yet. Come on, Dan. What are you doing? We need some space. So we're going to go down here and just have like a final-ish version. I have both, and I learned Adobe Illustrator from you, so I'm glad when you introduced Affinity as well. I'm used with Affinity Design 2, but I'm still very new with this one. Oh, if you've used Affinity Designer 2, you will be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. I've been Adobe for 20 years, and I had a bit of experience with Affinity Designer. Not a lot. Affinity Photo and Publisher, I never really used. I never really got into using it. It was when they merged it into one single app and it was free, my brain was like, I got to teach this. I got to learn this and I got to teach it because it's just flipping cool. I've always wanted one single app. That's probably my favorite thing about the new Affinity is I can just stay in here and do everything I need to. In fact, yeah, what I should do actually, I've kind of gone and created my own workspace. So I have this here. This is effectively Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign all combined into a single toolbar. So this is everything I would ever use in one toolbar. So I don't know. I'm going to play with this a bit more, but I can actually share that workspace. So if other people are like, oh, that's cool, I want to use that workspace, I could share this so you could use it as well. It does have that functionality. But up here, these are all my Illustrator tools or my vector tools, InDesign as well. Below is all the Photoshop stuff. If you're not seeing a tool there, it's because I don't need it or it's somewhere else in the UI. But yeah, that's something that I have put together and I'm kind of playing with at the minute. Morning, y'all. Hey, Kat. Affinity needs more updates. Yeah, it depends. It depends. What sort of stuff would you like to see added to the Photoshop version? Because there's a lot of stuff that, yeah, like I've been playing with the Pixel Studio, and it does do quite a lot of stuff that Photoshop does as well. There's some features it feels like it's missing, but it's not. They're just named differently and in a different place. So I don't know where it is. Where is it? My Stranger Things. I'll try and show you. I'll show you some stuff for photo manipulation anyway. So this is the first stream I did on this channel. So Stranger Things. This was all done in Affinity. Once I figured out where stuff was, it wasn't too bad. There's another one as well. This one was done in Affinity as well. So it's a skull and a ranger and a campfire and a big snowy scene, and you know, and these were both practice projects for me to kind of try and take what I know in Photoshop about the adjustment layers and everything, take all those techniques and try translating them. A lot of them translate pretty well, you know. you know, you still got all your adjustment layers here. This is the most important stuff. So Affinity's got all the ones you need. Even if it's missing like a feature here or there. Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, it's my personal studio. So, yeah, you can build your own studios, which again is something I flip and love. I've got the defaults up here so people joining can follow along. But for when I work on a project and I just kind of get into the zone, I've got my own studio here that I've built with just the tools I need. If I had every single tool on the toolbar, this thing would just be huge. I don't need that. There's loads of stuff that I don't care about. So what I've got on the Dansky studio is what I'm going to use. Right, so this, what have we got here? At the moment, let's ungroup everything. So first of all, we've got to expand the strokes here. So, no, where are we going, Dan? Got my Illustrator brain on. Okay, expand the stroke. What the flipping heck's happened there? What has happened there? What is that? Okay, we'll have to come back to that. Maybe if we expand that one on its own. Oh my goodness, I've never seen that before. That is not... That is very odd. Okay, it's a good thing that happened because I can show you how to get around it. I think if we delete this point here, and maybe if I select one of these and just convert to straight, is it this one? It buggers that up then. Alter option. And then I can hold shift to snap that. How bizarre. I've never seen that happen before. All right, let's try and expand the rest and hope we don't have that happen. How strange. Maybe it was the way I created it or set it up, or there was a double anchor point or something. Flip it out. Has anyone else ever had that? Press the Alt key. Exactly. How strange. Yeah, I mean there are a few little oddities. Like it's definitely not. I feel like I've had a pretty good experience. There are some weird bugs, mostly visual glitches. I know some people have not been so fortunate, but I've, touch wood, had a pretty smooth experience. But we've got to go ahead and clean this up now. So we can use outline mode with Command or Control Y to kind of try and figure out what's going on. Shape builder tool, alter option. Should be able to trim that off. Geometry still pretty clean there. Yeah. Yeah, it's never enough to just do a logo. We've got to clean everything up. What's going on in here? Extra line down the middle. What is that? It's gone. There we go. Fantastic. So we'll select both shapes, unite them together. So we're just cleaning this up. Now I've lost my V. Flipping great. Where's my V gone? Andrea, where's the V? What's happened? So we'll delete that and then paste the E back in. Like, to be honest, this is the same sort of thing you have to do with Illustrator. When I create a logo, I kind of add lines here, use shapes, bits of white. I fluff up my anchor points to get duplicate anchor points. So when you do get to the bit where it's time to clean up, there's always stray points left over or something buggers everything up. It's usually me, but sometimes it's just, you know, the way the software handles me just being messy, really. And then you expand everything and try and merge it, and shapes don't combine properly, and just the way it is. Right, this one. So we could expand that, but there was another version. So do I want the width to change? Because with a larger version here, I might still want to keep the width like this. Whereas, just to kind of show you, if I do this and then scale it up after I've expanded the strokes, this could end up being quite chunky, and I don't know if I really want that at a larger size. So what I'm going to do is keep the stroke weight still editable, but just make sure that if I scale it up, it doesn't do anything I don't want. I might regret that, but we'll see. So I'll group it together. We'll call it logo mark. We'll ignore all of my layers panel, and that's a total mess. Group that together. We'll call this logo type. Then we can group both these together, and together they form the logo. So there we go. Copy, and we can paste it into here, and we can start getting busy. Whoa! Yeah. Let's turn on scaling actually, just in case I muck it up. Alt click on the curve and it will straighten it. Ooh, that is handy to know. Thank you. What if Enviromech updates to their new logo? I mean, if they were to see, I mean, I got to be honest, if they were to see it and start using it without asking me, it's a little bit rude, but I don't really care because, you know, they never commissioned me to do it. If they asked me if they could use it, I'd just say, yeah, sure, whatever. You know, I honestly, I don't mind. I mean, the thing is, technically, because I've created this, there's evidence I've created it because it's all been live. I still own the copyright to it because I've made it. So if we were to kind of get into like a legal pickle, should we say, I own the rights to them, to the designs. They'd be using my work, and yeah, so there's always something you can keep in your back pocket if you do. Someone asked a question about that earlier, actually, on one of the recent videos. You can always keep it in your back pocket if you do get something like that. You know, just politely remind someone if they need to that, by the way, legally you don't have the rights to use this. But all right, what should we do with this? Let's do some different page mock-ups. So we'll add a few new pages. How many do I want? I don't know. We'll say 5. So we've got the logo. That. We'll keep this version over here. This is the in case I screw it up version. So we'll make a bigger version there. I've got scaling turned on, so it's not going to muck up the form. Will stay the same. And we're going to do a few different colorways. So how are we going to divide this? Maybe into 4. So what have we got? We're going to have green. Any other colors that we might use that I've probably not really considered yet? Black and white reversed out. So we're showing that our logo is does work as a single color. Divided by 2. And we'll drop the height. So /2 / is divide. Duplicate this down. So then up here we're going to have black. And down here we're going to have white. Yeah. And then these are the colors we're going to have. The green. In fact, have I made that a swatch? Have I been smart? No, I haven't. Of course, I've not been smart. That's too much to ask. Right, so let's take the green and we're going to make this a color swatch. So we'll call it green. We're going to sample that specific color. Oh, this is definitely a glitch. This is a weird glitch that moves my cursor to the other screen. It's very silly. So there we go. We've got a swatch. Yay! Let's select the logo, and so make sure that you're using that green, and then the logo mark. Make sure that is using the green. There we go. So now they're both using the global swatch of that new green. If I go and change the swatch, the color will change across the whole document. So Now we're going to have a version down here that has that same green. The reason this is important is because if I decide in 10 minutes to change green to blue, I can do it in about a second rather than painstakingly using more minutes, which I don't want to do because I need my minutes. I need my life minutes. So we can then take that there, duplicate it down. I think for these versions, I will expand this. I might regret that in a minute. Just because then I've just got one color to change. It just makes things a bit easier. So we can then, yeah, you can see here, I've still got my strokes. So let's just go and expand them for now. Yeah, there we go. So now I can just click this, change the fill color for the whole thing. So it's just going to speed the process up. So we'll move you down there. Make sure you are centered. Obviously, we want to center these. We're not going to have any sloppiness here. Centered. Eyedropper tool. It samples with red when I'm using my tablet. Don't ask me why. I've got no idea. There's a few weird little bugs. So there we go. We're not only demonstrating to ourselves that this logo design does work and have flexibility to work in different scenarios, but we're showcasing to the client as well. Oh, hello, Mad Harima. Hello, yes, you from the Discord. I recognize that name. Welcome. Is this your first stream? Did you know if you select everything and hit the delete button, it will make everything disappear? No way. Will it really? A new Affinity feature. Affinity needs to be able to export LUTs in .cube. Oh, I didn't even know you could export a LUT from Affinity. So there we go. How do you do that? So they wait. What? They don't use a .cube format because .cube's used across loads of things, isn't it? Yeah, it's got to be .cube. That'd be good. Can you test if we rename colors, it will be changed afterwards? If we rename colors, how do you mean? What, edit this one here? Rename. Yeah, you could rename it there. Yeah, their old logo was like grey, silver. I think it had a gradient as well. There it is. I mean, flip it out. So the green isn't a million miles away from what they've got already. And maybe I do need to change the green slightly. Make it a little bit darker. I mean, at the moment, I've just picked a green that I like. It's not CMYK or anything, which is probably actually going to be a problem. So let's look at that. How do we do that? Actually, that's a good point. So, oh, I know. Let's go here. We'll open up the swatch. We're going to go CMYK. Why is it not changing the swatch? Oh, wrong document. So let's zoom in on this. Yeah, we probably should. I do like the RGB palette because you just, yeah, there we go. You see, this is the benefit of global swatches. I like the RGB palette because I use it for a lot of digital stuff, and you get like a wider spectrum, so you can use more colors and they're punchier. But this is a company that would use it for print, so obviously everything I'm going to do is on screen. But if this were real, they would be using it for print. So we've got to pick a color that that can be reproduced printaliciously. The colors do look a little bit duller, which is a goddamn shame. But you know, it is what it is. That's not too bad. That's pretty good. And oh, it's just finding the right sustainable green, isn't it? You don't want it to be too sludge-like. I just want to make it like brighter and punchier, but you can't. You can go a bit more yellow. You could go that way. Yeah, see, it just kind of looks dirty when you bring in magenta. And you can't drop black because it will go darker. It's got to be somewhere around the 53 mark, maybe. Let's grab their current logo, actually. Let's see what that... it's not too dissimilar, actually. That's pretty close. That is pretty close, to be fair. I think I'm just going to maybe just nudge it a teeny tiny bit more towards green. Maybe 58. I know we're splitting hairs here, but this matters to me. Yeah. And this is why we're doing this as well, because you can see how the logo looks, but if you had block green, maybe you've got a cover for a brochure and it's going to be block green, you can see how it looks at least. That's pretty good. One thing I've just noticed, though, is the mark is a little bit too far away, actually. So I am going to nudge these two a tiny bit closer together. Something like that. A good rule of thumb. This isn't like a law, but the spacing here between the logo mark and the type. A good rule of thumb is the width of one character. So not your capitals, but like your N, V, your A, your E, your C, your H. Take that width and then you put that there, and it can kind of give you a bit of a guide. But it sort of depends really on the logo. You have to use your eye and judge it a little bit. Right. Did I move that? Right. We're going to go white. And I've got to go and change this. Probably should have got the spacing right first, but we're only human. So let's plonk in new logo. Where's it gone? Yeah, it looks pretty good. And pop that up here as well. And then we just need a black and white version. Pop that in there as well. Very nice. I think it's always good to make sure that a logo does work in black and white. Let's go make a black swatch as well. Add global color. Right, so we do not want this sort of black, because if you're printing cyan, magenta, yellow and black, as you can see, high values of each of them on top of each other, there's going to be a nightmare. A printer's going to be like, what the hell are you doing, you crazy person? So you only want to be adjusting the black for print. You can still have other colors if you want, but just don't have all of them. Don't ever send something to print like this because it's going to print magenta, cyan, yellow and black all on top of each other, and it's just going to be, apart from the fact that's a lot of ink, the chance that they all line up perfectly is not necessarily going to be the case, and you'll get like this mismatch shift. So if you're going to use black or any dark grays, just use your K slider here. Right, we will call that black. So we'll start as we mean to go on. We're going to set this up. Right, so then this black here. Yeah, so you can see it looks a little bit more washed out now, but that is CMYK black, effectively, rather than RGB black is super dark and really, really kind of rich. This one here is less so, but it's still lovely. Do I set a white up as well? May as well. New swatch. I'm probably not going to change it, but just in case I want to change the white to a light grey, you know, who knows. So we'll call it white, but if I want to make it a bit darker at some point, at least I can do it from a swatch rather than having to screw around manually. So yeah, there we go. That's now white. If I want to change it, I can darken it a tiny bit. Yeah, you can see the difference here. It's so much punchier. Oh, it makes me sad. I like the punchy one. But it's kind of like if they are going to... I mean, the only other way to get around it is a spot color. You know, if there were a really punchy spot color, a very specific ink, like a Pantone color or something, you could do that. But it does mean for brand consistency, you'd have to print, you know, a lot of your stuff in Pantone colors or find a close match. I wonder if there's a way actually to find a match. So if I go to... Where is it? I think it's these ones. How do I find a match for what I've got? Is there a way? I've not really explored this. I've got the Pantone window here, but how do I find like the closest match to my selection? Oh, damn. I am so going Pantone with this. Yeah, that's way closer. It depends. Yeah, that's a really good question. It depends. So if you're going to print with so basically when you print with CMYK, that's 4 inks: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Black is the K, YK, because traditionally K was the key color. So black is the color that will have the biggest impact on the entire outcome of the print. So anyway, so CMYK prints with those 4 inks. You can print photos with CMYK. You can print loads of things. But as you can see here, CMYK printing with those 4 inks, you can only make so many colors. So this is the brightest, punchiest green I could get. I'm saying that's not enough. I want a punchier green than that. Okay, you could use something called a spot color or a Pantone color. And effectively, you can get these books, and these are very specific inks. So they've been mixed to be an exact color. You get the little color swatch. And some of these inks, they are made, or they appear and are made of colors that are not necessarily reproducible with CMYK. So you can see here, I couldn't get that any punchier with CMYK, but using this one here, I was able to get a punchier green. It's like a very specific ink. So instead of, you know, using 4 inks and trying to mix them to create a color, we're just using one very specific ink. Does that make sense? I've not done print for like years now. I've been digital for a long time, but a lot of this stuff is sort of stuck in my head, and I try and kind of keep my brain up to date with bits and pieces when people ask me questions. But exactly, yeah. So the spot color is just going to be one plate, whereas when you're printing with CMYK, you're going to have 4 plates, one for each of the colors. RGB is red, green, and blue. That is on screen, so the screen can produce billions and millions more colors. I can't remember the exact thing. A lot more colors than CMYK can. So that's why it looked all lovely and punchy before. But actually, I think I am going to go with a Pantone. What was that one I picked? I've totally forgotten already now. You bloody idiot, Dan. You found the holy Pantone colour of your dreams and you've forgotten what it is. You turnip. This one here? Pantone 2291C. So C is for coated, U is for uncoated, and obviously there's lots of other different types of things. I don't honestly know a lot about these, so I would love to waffle an answer, but I really don't know a lot about it. I've been out of the print game for a long time now. But I think the knowledge that I have is still relevant. It's not changed. So that's really exciting because now this green looks rubbish and I don't like it, which is fantastic. The great thing about this as well, it does mean that I have to use spot colors on everything. If I don't use spot colors and I want to print something with CMYK, it might potentially look like this. Although there is this option here, Pantone plus CMYK, so that might be an option as well. And sometimes spot colors, printing them can be more expensive because the printer has to specifically set up a print run with just one ink rather than just kind of leaving CMYK set up. So I'm sure there's people that know more about this than me, but yeah, downside of using Pantones, yeah, the cost as well. It's the kind of thing that you want to chat through with the printer. So I wouldn't just work with a client's project and be like, hey, let's go and set up all these Pantones, flipping brilliant. And then you send it to the printer and they're like, yeah, that's going to be like 5 times as much as a normal print run. There's obviously the cost consideration as well. So, but as you can see, yeah, this is going to have a lot more consistency now. So this logo here, Pantone and the RGB version online is going to look very, very similar rather than the logo having to be dull green or then having the online one being nice and punchy and then the printed one looking like sad grass. And that's flipping close to my original green as well. So I'm really happy with that. So we're going to have a party. Swatches, right. Come on, shut up, Dan. Don't forget the swatch. What is it? 2291, right? But please someone remember that because I'll forget. Can I change it from here? Yeah, we can add it. Yay. All right, we've got to find it again now. Let's scrub a dib a dub. I think if we hover, we get them. 2291. Yes, I'm pretty sure that just changed. That changed, didn't it? Yeah. So this, yeah, look, if you look really closely, look at me with my glasses. Hang on, let me just squint at the screen. Yeah, so the little triangle in the corner denotes this as a global swatch. We've talked about that already. The little circle means that it's a spot color. So you get spot colors, but Pantone is a type of spot color. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, that makes it easy. Nice. What do we think about that green, by the way? I think I like it. I mean, to be honest, if I want to change it to a slightly different Pantone, I could clearly do it very quickly. So it's not going to be a problem. And my logo's gone from the first page. It's ran away from me. Right, fantastic. Ah, yes, thank you. Good idea. Just write it down, Dan. Write it in the chat if you're going to forget it. I would if you're new to designing stuff for print, I would honestly just stick with CMYK. Yeah. Stick with CMYK. And then if you get the chance to either experiment with Pantones or learn a bit about Pantones or see how they've been set up, or even go to a printers and talk to them about it and ask about the process, see the process, or get a tour. I don't know. Sometimes you might be able to kind of get your foot in the door and learn a bit more about it. I wouldn't just start firing off Pantone colors and documents all over the place. It could invite chaos. Yeah, that's a really good point. Pantone's great for high quality business cards in high volumes. Most, if you're going to be doing like a small print run, you probably wouldn't go to the trouble of setting up Pantone colors. It's good to be able to access colors you couldn't otherwise access. So these very specific inks, and some brands will have them as their brand colors, and they will only print in that Pantone. But in this case, I'm going to set it up as a Pantone because it, one, looks nicer, and two, it's more consistent with the online version, which is great. Environmental green. Right, the logo. Right, so now we wanna state, or not state, what am I talking about? We want to present the primary and the secondary logo mark terminology. So this is the main logo. This is going to be used on the website, letterheads, business cards. It's going to be pretty much most places, right? But sometimes what you might do is you might have a secondary version. Let's say you've got like a very square or vertical space. This logo is not going to fit that space. So we need to have a backup to make sure that we can present the logo in a different format, but it's still going to look and feel consistent to everything else. So we're going to do our secondary version as well. Sometimes you can even have like a tertiary mark, which, to be fair, could just be this on its own, actually. So, in fact, no, I've got an idea. We're gonna do three, actually. We're gonna split this. We're gonna do three. It'll be different depending on the logo and the brand and whatever the project you're doing. Some logos will be the right sort of shape and size. Maybe they're square or whatever, and they'll just work great in every situation. So we've got one there. And we've got one here. I would like to try some mock-ups as well. I want to throw together some quick AI mock-ups in Firefly in a bit, because I think it's like it was until the first, but I think the Nano Banana Pro, which is one that I'm using at the minute and fiddling around with, that's still free for now, so you don't have to spend credits or whatever it is for that, which I like, because it means I can just muck around and try and get familiar with it. But yeah, I've done a couple of videos recently that is so good for mock-ups. It's ridiculous. Yeah, look at this. So this is a good example here. You can see it just doesn't fill that space vertically. So I think for presentation purposes, I'm going to adjust this and have the main logo in the top section. And then we'll fill that up. There we go. So that's primary logo. And down here, we're going to have the other versions of it. So first of all, we got to make them. Let's move you out of the way. Bring this down. Could you point me towards a comprehensive training course for the newest version of Affinity? Oh, I couldn't. I'm sure there are some online you could probably look up. I mean, I've got the channel. If you go onto the playlists for this channel, there is a Learn Affinity thing, and I've got 50 videos. It's not covered everything yet, but I'm going to keep uploading them. So I don't know, give it another month or two. I think this channel and the playlist on it will become a comprehensive training course. I'd like to think anyway. So a lot of the stuff at the minute is quick bite-sized tutorials covering the fundamentals and the basics, and then they will get more advanced as time goes on. Right, I need some music. Where's my music? I have no music. Right. So now we've got to separate these two. So how are we going to do this, Dan? We're going to ungroup you. We've got top word here. Let's combine that together. Combine that together. So we're going to call this mech. Envira. This is so funny. They probably have no idea this is all being done for them. And that's a nice little nugget as well. The H doesn't collide. Like if the that happened, it would be a problem. But the fact that it almost sneaks into that little gap is a little bit of a gem. I'm lucky there. Right, this one here. Scaling. Okay, so this is where I don't know if I want the scaling on. So I might do two versions. I'll show you what I mean because I kind of waffled it a bit earlier. So this is version 1. I'm going to scale this up. You can see the stroke weight is going to stay the same, which is good because it matches the type. Version 2. Is going to scale proportionally with its size. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. And then it's like, is it too big there? Yeah, see the one on the right, it feels too chunky. So we'll do a few mock-ups for this. I might have to ungroup this actually because it's going to get a bit fiddly. There's lots of different ways we can present this. So we could have a version where this is the entire width. So if we do that, yeah, I think that's a bit too much. Some designs can look quite cool when the logo is all the same width, but I think here it's a bit big. Will green logo and black logo type be the other versions? No, this isn't color we're talking about here. This is the form of the logo itself. So we're going to do a horizontal version. That's primary. This one here, if I can figure this out, is probably going to be secondary. And then the tertiary version is probably just going to be the Enviromech text on its own. So if there really isn't enough space to have the full logo, the fallback is just the words. You could have the symbol, but that on its own probably wouldn't be recognizable, or depending on where it's going to be used, that wouldn't really say anything. Whereas having the company name is probably a bit more important. We could do another page and have this as like the brand mark and look at how that's used, where it's used, whether you turn it into a pattern, which, to be fair, actually this kind of design would probably lend itself very nicely for some sort of tiled pattern. But yeah, right now we're just gonna pick one color, whether it's green or black. This bit doesn't matter. the important thing is we're setting the marks up. I don't know if I want that to be a capital E. I know I'm a bit stupid for changing it now. What do you think to lowercase? The only reason I'm thinking about it is because of how it looks stacked. But I don't know. Yeah, you could. Yeah, this is a really good thing. I'll see if I can remember how to do this. You could rule of thirds, which is a pretty cool technique. I learned this little nugget from James Martin on Instagram. It's pretty cool. Let's see if I can remember how to do it. So, rule of thirds is something you get a lot in photography and videography. Where's me spacing? Oh no, that's a problem. Hang on. Yes, this is what I want. Distribute horizontal. Yeah, that's the one I want, isn't it? See, I love the fact you can customize all this. I absolutely love it to the moon and back. Yeah, so I could select these now and I can space them. Yeah, there we go. So we can group that together. That is going to be our grid. And then what you can do is use this as a bit of a size guide. So you can see the total width here, and then we'll make this as someone said. I was just looking for who it was. Pixel said, yeah, we can make this a third of the grid. Again, it's not like a hard and fast rule. You want to sort of take the size and shape into account as well. So I might actually make it a little bit bigger, but it can be a pretty good guide. We could even give it dashed lines as well. And make it a bit fainter. That might be the way to go. Hey, Moosh. How is it? Yeah, I wouldn't replace the eye with the symbol. You just wouldn't see it. At a small size, it would be a problem. It would be so tiny, or it would be a massive symbol. It would look a bit odd. I think, yeah, I'll keep the grid somewhere. We'll fling it off to the side here. So that could be the secondary version. See it? Nah, it feels too small. This is what I mean about using the rule of whatsits as a guide. It feels too small. And I think that's why it's important to train your eye as a designer as well. You can't just rely on, I think like having sort of systems can be really helpful. But you've got to train your eye as well, because you can't always rely on it. And I think I've buggered up the width there, haven't I? But let's just say that's fine for now. And then we'll go on and we'll do one more version, which is just going to be the lettering on its own. And let's make it the same size as this. This is like our ultimate fallback if nothing else works. Let's pop it in the center. Just use slightly different shades to differentiate them. Or we could use solid line dividers, a bunch of different things. So let's get some text in there now and actually describe for the client what the hell they're looking at. Because at the moment, this doesn't actually communicate anything. So we need to explain it. Remember, they're not us. They've not had their face buried in this project for the last 7 years. So we have to explain what they're looking at. So we'll go bottom left. Consistent place on every thingamajiggy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Primary logo. Tertiary. So at least we've covered off different use cases. And you could write more information here as well. So there's no harm in just adding a little bit of descriptive text here saying this is where your logo is going to be used most of the time. And then this is a version that is better suited to square or vertical formats to be used as a fallback from this. And then explain the tertiary is that this is the logo of last resort. Nothing else works, use this. So you could put that in the presentation as well. Or if you were going to turn this into like a brand guidelines document or whatever for the client, a style guide, whatever, it's kind of showing them how their logo can be used and should be used. So it's kind of as consistent as possible, whether they're using it on websites, printed stuff, business cards, wherever. Oh no, fainting cold or some sort of sickness. Just stopped in to say hi though. Hi. And have a lot going on today. Have a great stream. Oh, thank you, Moosh. Oh, that's rubbish. I hope you feel better soon. Yeah, probably, Andrea. It works well without a logo too. Yeah, it's always good, isn't it, when a plan comes together. Yeah, it's all right actually. This is the sort of thing you have to consider when working on stuff like this. A lot of the time, to be honest, when you have like a logo like this sort of a logo design with like a logo mark and a logo type, and they sit side by side as two separate things, but they work together. A lot of the time they will stack pretty nicely, unless you've got a weird font or a weird logo mark and it doesn't fit properly. So that's why I tend to focus on this version. this one sort of takes care of itself, and then this one is usually a derivative of this. Oh, I now feel like the text is too big. I'm like second guessing everything. Leave it alone, Dan. Right. Let's try some mock-ups. We'll try some AI mock-ups and we'll just quickly throw it together. This is quite useful if you are putting together a logo presentation. You can spend hours looking through mock-ups, downloading them, finding out if they're good, downloading them and they're not good, adding the designs, whatever. So the fact that I can use AI to just throw together a few mock-ups and dump them in here is very, very helpful. As long as they're good. If they're not good, well, we're not going to compromise on quality. So what shall we mock up? This could be a presentation page. Got to have a mug in there. A mug. What would be relevant to the brand, actually? Like a business card, obviously. I don't know if the AI is going to do text very well, but that's fine. We'll see what it does. Maybe we add the text ourselves. What else? You've got obviously the generic mock-ups, but what could be very specific to this? Like a certain form or a letterhead? Close up on some premium headed paper. So let's say like a contract that's been printed on a really nice paper, you know. Someone's about to sign a 100 grand contract. The contract's gonna look the bee's knees and it's gonna be on some really nice paper. Branding on an AC unit. Yeah, that would be cool. Good luck trying to find a mock-up of that. See, this is where I think the AI stuff can be quite useful. I've not really, like, over the last 2 years, as this AI stuff's been growing, whether it's the AI image generation or the ChatGPT, I kind of stayed away from it for quite a while. And then I started using ChatGPT more, and it just became incredibly helpful for me to bounce ideas off. And it's probably the last couple months I've started playing with the AI stuff a bit more with the imagery. And with Nano Banana Pro, the Nano Banana was fun, but the Pro version is kind of insane. And I've definitely got a sense now of where the wind's blowing. I've said to a few people, I don't think the genie is going back in the bottle. You know, Pandora's box has been opened. And so, and I'm personally finding there's several ways that it's getting me better results and saving me time. So I can focus on actually just working on the design, you know, rather than having to spend hours upon hours or days trying to create a certain type of effect. Yeah, so an AC unit, that's a great example. So what would this be? Like a sticker on an AC unit or something like that. Vehicles, yeah. On vehicle. Again, I don't know how it's on back of a white van. Again, I don't know how well it's going to add the text and stuff, but I'll probably add that. So I'll try and get AI to generate the image, and then I'll add the text. That's enough for now, I think. Right, let's give it a go. Right. We'll start with the mug. We'll go Nano Banana. I'm crap at prompt writing, so we'll see what I'll do my best. Ratio 4:3. Right. Okay. Generate a solid white mug on a coffee table in a small office with white walls and green plants in the background. The green from the plants is going to link to the logo, so the image itself is going to try and encompass this palette. The mug is in focus and the background is out of focus. You could throw this in ChatGPT and it will write a better prompt. Like, I'm not very good at this sort of stuff, but we'll see what it does. Nano Banana Pro. On Adobe's Firefly thing, it's free if you've got Creative Cloud, I think, until the 15th of December. So I don't know how much it's going to use credits and all that stuff after. I don't know how much we get with, if you've got like an all apps plan like I have, I don't know how many credits you get. You know, I don't want to be spending more money on credits and spend enough money on things as it is, but so hopefully there's a chunk included. Yeah, free. No, neither did I. It was I mean, look at that. That's cool. That's really cool, actually. Dang. Yeah, I think the whole generative credits thing was for like generative fill, but it was never like shown where your credits were or how many you were using in like an easy to see way. It was a bit weird. It's kind of behind the scenes credits. The only thing with this, I don't know how to upscale this. Does anyone else know if you can upscale? I know on Artlist you can. You just hit the upscale button. But I don't know if there's a... I just want to... Because this isn't very high res, I don't think. That's the only problem. Exactly. Oh no. Well, first of all, you need to understand what boring means to them, because your version of boring and their version of boring are going to be two different things, and different to my version of boring. So you need to dig into and unpack what boring means. So that'll be a conversation. You know, what does boring look like to you? And you can apply that to anything. You know, if someone says your design's too punchy, okay, Mr. Client, what does punchy mean to you? You have to try and translate what they really mean by that, because you might find out that it's the color that looks boring, or they might think the design itself looks boring, or I don't know, maybe Bob from accounting is just the one who thinks it's boring and everyone else likes it. You've got to have that conversation and unpack what they really mean by that, because otherwise you're going to try and make it less boring in your opinion, but you need to understand what their version of boring looks like so that you can then make changes. Because if someone said to me, "Oh, the logo you've done looks boring," I'm like, well, "What the hell does that mean?" Obviously, you don't say that. You ask professionally what it means. Yeah, I don't know if um, I'll try it. That's a good point. I'll try it. Generate in the highest resolution possible. I don't know if this is going to work. Poppy, what is that smell?
Making grilled cheese.
What? It smells amazing. 100%. Yeah, communication's key. But I think you know, a lot of reasonable people, if you go back to them and say, "Okay, great, thanks for the feedback. You said it's boring. I totally appreciate what you're saying. If you could help me understand what boring looks like to you, and just kind of please let me inside your brain." Don't say that, it's a bit weird. But that's what you want to do, you know. You just need to understand what their version of boring is. Yeah, that would be the way to go. Right, I don't think this is going to work, but I don't want to be too pessimistic. How do I... Where's the flipping download button? We'll see what resolution it is. Oh, bloody hell. Hang on a second. Maybe I should shut up. They're definitely not the same resolution. Oh, good work, whoever suggested that. So this one is 1700 pixels wide. This one is 1200. Flippin' heck! Yeah, that's definitely a slightly sharper. Oh, well done. I wouldn't have tried that. Oh, that serves me right for being Mr. Negative Pants. Right, okay. Right, so now this is a good one actually for the mug. Good use of the logo. So we'll export a PNG. We can just take this new higher res one, go edit image, add the logo to the mug. How do I add a reference image? There we go. Do I have to keep putting highest resolution possible? I hope not. Right, why can't I should be able to add... Ah, see, it switched back to Firefly here. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that was in Firefly it generated that at a higher resolution. I wanted to use the banana. Yeah, because this lets me use more reference images. Okay. God, I've gone and complicated it now, haven't I? Right, generate the highest resolution possible and add the logo to the mug. With realistic lighting. And the great thing about this is that, like, if I'm doing a logo design for someone and it's just a logo, I will always still pull together a presentation like this because, one, it doesn't take me very much time, and going through this part of the process, as you can see, we're doing the necessary considerations anyway. You know, we've got to consider this stuff anyway to make sure the logo works and ticks all the boxes. So visually mocking it up is good for us, but it's a nice little extra that the client may not be expecting. But I don't want to spend too long on this, you know, because it's kind of something that you can build this into your logo price and maybe charge a bit more, but it's something that is a kind of an extra. I'm over delivering, you know, so I don't want to spend loads of time, but I still want to get like a good result. So I don't want to spend hours upon hours trying to find mock-ups and adding things. I can do this pretty quickly. That logo's too big. Edit image. Make the logo a bit smaller. Go back to the banana. No, I think other people are having crashing issues, unfortunately. I've had a few issues, but I feel like a lot of people have had more issues. I think on PC, quite a few issues as well. We normally leave it for design review, criticism and stuff. But if you send me a version to hello@dansky.com, I will help out. You've piqued my interest. I need to know what a boring logo looks like now. So you got me. Yeah, if you just send it to there, I'll pick it up and we'll have a look at it on stream. Oh, the logo is too bloody small now. Too small. Make the logo slightly bigger. And some people have been talking about using AI for mock-ups and stuff. In that, for high quality stuff, you lose some flexibility and it doesn't replace templates. And I don't think it does. I think templates can still exist. If you need to produce something super high quality and you want the ability to like edit things with more precision, I don't think this should replace using templates. I think they can definitely be used together. For example, I might generate something here, or maybe I'll generate the mug on its own, and then I'll go and do a load of Photoshop work to it. But I couldn't just use one or the other. At the moment, the way I'm using it, I'm using them both. So it's been pretty interesting. I'll show you an example in a minute. Actually, but this is probably the best use case for using AI, generative AI, for me personally, that I've experienced. So regardless of what anyone says about it, whether they love it or hate it, this is something that has hugely impacted me in a positive way, regardless of whether people agree with it or disagree with it. Let me find it. There you are. Yeah, so this is my certificate file. So if you enroll in one of my courses, you get a certificate when you finish. So I designed this kind of mark for my online school, Dansky Academy. This is the course name. This is the year of completion. And you've got the D and the A, very emblematic. But I designed all of this myself. And I wanted to have something on here, like a really nice, amazing looking little, very just to make it look a bit smarter than just a vector graphic. So what I did was I took my design, I got AI to generate the gold effect.
You sure you didn't just do it on Canva?
Hey?
You sure you didn't just do it on Canva?
No, I didn't do it on Canva. I definitely did not. We're not there yet. So AI kind of made the badge, and this wasn't the first one. This is gold, but I got it to generate a waxed seal, all sorts of stuff. A silver badge, you could do it in brass, copper. The problem was, though, that the text was part of the generation. So what I then did was I got Nanobanan to remove all the text, just leave me the badge, and then this text now, if I go in here, should still be editable. You wouldn't know it to look at it. But what I did was I matched the text stylistically to the badge. So I started in, what was it? I think the original was done in Illustrator. So I did this in Illustrator. The actual badge and the material was done with Nano Banana Pro. And then the text was then re-added in Affinity. So it's a bit of a weird, wild process. But to create this sort of badge and to get it looking this good, let alone doing the wax seal version, I've not got it anymore, but the wax version was flipping ridiculous. It would have taken me hours, if not days. And I'm a busy guy. Like, I don't have time. Like, this is a certificate. This is one of like a gazillion things I do. I ain't got time to sit here and make gold effects from scratch like this. Like, do you know what I mean? I've got other things that are like far more important for me to do. So to be able to have something take care of the effect like that was hugely helpful. and it just, but I still got to do the design work, you know. That's probably the most useful case for it so far, at least in my workflow. Yeah, that's looking a bit better. It's a bit low res. It doesn't look very high quality. Oh, there's the download button. Yeah, I think Nano Banana might be a lower resolution. Yeah, oh, it's not the highest resolution. I'm sure that stuff will get better with time, but for the purpose of this page and viewing it on screen, it does what it needs to do. In fact, we could even do one more version.
Wishy-washy.
We'll let that sizzle away. Right, so that's one. We'll come back to business card. I want to do the sticker on the AC unit. This is the one I want to do. Right. So this would be a good sticker. If you wanted to design a sticker and add more information to it, legal blurb and whatever, you could do. Right. I'm still trying to figure out my way around this UI. It's a little bit confusing for me. So reference. Where are you? What's it called? Right. Okay. Turn this logo into a sticker and add it to the side of a commercial air conditioning unit. The sticker should take up a good amount of the image. That's probably terrible as far as prompting goes. And be clearly visible. I mean, I don't know. I'm just doing the best I can here. You know, I'm sure once I've generated something, at least it gives me a starting point. If I had other reference images, or I could use ChatGPT to kind of help me out. Oh, my chat's really small. I can't read that. Let's zoom in. Yeah, if you want to send the logo over, you've probably got about another half an hour, because I will have to shoot off at some point. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Pixel. I think you've got Envato markups, which are great. Wait, what? Where'd that come from? Was that hanging around from before? Oh my goodness! I mean, yeah, look at that. I mean, this stickers stickers massive. So again, you know, the prompting is the problem there. So let's get a reference image. Air conditioning unit logo. Let's go sticker. Let's try and get a good reference image. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to do this or not, but we'll try it. So we'll edit this. Sticker needs to be 60% smaller in size, and camera needs to zoom in to focus on the sticker Also add some very small legal text to the sticker in black with electrical regulation symbols used in the UK. Let's see what it does with that. That's going to be interesting. Hello.
You need to smell this.
What is it?
Posh chocolate body wash from Lush.
Oh my god.
That is insane. No, don't eat it.
Ah!
No, you're not supposed to. Oh, because it's got hazelnut as well.
Ah!
That smells so good.
Ah! How can it smell that good and taste so horrible?
Got soap in it.
Oh, can't remember the last time I ate soap.
When we were in trial getting your mouth washed out.
Oh, that's a good point. You're enjoying the live class? Excellent. Fantastic. The dangerous side of it is something that I saw the other day. A client paid a designer to draw a load of illustrations. Later down the line, the client was using these designs as prompts in AI to create more, rather than rehiring the designer. I mean, that's just people. People going to do that. People, it's not the first time designers have been stitched up. Sometimes clients will get designers to design something. They'll see the design and then they'll go and get their mate Bob down the road to recreate it. That's nothing new. It's just, same shit, different day. Those sorts of problems have been around. They probably always will be around because there's just some, crappy people out there, unfortunately. Yeah, it's too late, Victoria. Sorry, Victoria 126. We've eaten the soap. This is normal. This is pretty normal for me. How do you get vectors outside the artboard? You can right click and deselect clip the canvas. And honestly, if anyone's got any questions about the AI stuff or concerns or fears or things they're excited about, honestly, let's just chat about it. There's so many people just, I know I get a lot of people who are afraid and people don't like it and some people love it. Some people just want to shut down any conversation about it, but screw that. I think we should be talking about it. We should be talking about these things and, trying to figure out what we're going to do about it. Are we going to use it? Are we not? I think it's an important conversation to have. Yeah. Oh, I mean, look at that. Flippin' heck. Even if it botched, the text is all right, but even if it botched it, I could grab a bunch of those legal stickers pretty easily. I'm not loving the ventilation thing. Looks a bit rusty and old, but again, we're not going to spend too much time on that now. I'd probably try and get a new ventilation unit. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. What was my other one? Yeah, we'll try it on some headed paper. So logo. Right. The logo has a spot gloss finish and the paper is What would an expensive paper stock be? Yeah, it does look like a bit of an old unit, doesn't it? It looks a bit battered up. I'd probably get a better AC unit first. I'd probably generate the unit and the sticker, and then use two references and put them together. That'd be the best way of doing it. Or design the sticker myself using that, and then just say I've done the sticker. Put this on a nice looking AC unit. And the paper is expensive and textured. Can't think of an expensive paper. White, expensive, and textured. I think there's pros and cons of it, to be honest. I used it yesterday to create a chrome effect on a job I'm working on that would have taken me much longer to do it manually. Exactly, yeah. I mean, someone gave a really good example in the Discord yesterday in terms of stitching and making clothes. You know, most people aren't stitching by hand anymore. They're using machines and technology to do a lot of that. But you've still got to have the skill to be able to operate the machine. And even though the machine does a lot of the work, the manual work, you still have to know how to make clothes. It doesn't automatically make good looking clothing. So I think as designers, we're still going to have to heavily rely on, probably even more so, rely on our ability and our eyes to determine things, optical alignment, spacing, creating good design. I think that stuff is going to be even more important. It's like even stuff like Canva. Canva's got loads of templates and it's got AI and you can get AI templates and everything. But one thing I've noticed with when Poppy does some Canva stuff,
Hello.
she will take a template and the template's cool, but once you throw in all your own text and your own images, it can go sideways very quickly. Poppy's getting pretty good thanks to her expert instruction. But um but so the things that make a designer like a really good designer, I think, are still going to be important and probably become more important. Look at that. That's fine. If I wanted to go and add some, I mean, the paper looks a bit thick and fluffy. Here, at the top of a single piece of headed paper in the top left corner, spot gloss finish, and the paper is white and expensive looking. Let's get rid of the texture and see how that does. You have a traitor living with you. You're a traitor, Poppy. There'll be a new channel next week. It'll be Canva with Dansky.
Yeah.
Be sitting here designing in my Canva t-shirt. You've mailed me the design. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Right. Oh, I've just got your logo. Give me as much information as you can about the client and who it's for. Omega. So what's the logo? Who's it for? What are the client? What do they do? Just flood the chat with information. Right. We're gonna go with speed and get this done. Let's do two more. Logo on the back of a white van. Add the logo to the back of a brand new white van in the UK. So add something to the Discord. Oh, nice. Is that something you generated? Yeah, that looks Oh, the sticker's peeling off. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you could do. Yeah, so the legal sticker, the text is getting better, but it's still like nonsense. Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's not only just a mock-up; it's in the UK. It's got a flipping UK, British street with a pub outside. Now, this is an example, actually. Right. So what I would say now is edit image. I would say remove the logo and um, blank out the number plate. Just have the remove the letters from the number plate, so it's just blank. Got to keep the transit there. Make sure this is a real van as well. God, it's even added the Ford logo. Can it do that? Is it allowed to do that? Because the thing is, when you're like, this mock-up's fine, but I would want to do this in Photoshop myself because you've got the door fold, you've got the transit logo, you've got the handle, you've got a design around this. You know, I see so many vans that butcher this. They have the logo kind of half cut off with the door handle and the phone numbers split, and it looks a mess. So this is one of those instances where I'm not going to let AI do the mock-up. I want the blank van in the British street with a pub. What's the pub called? Gibberish nonsense. But then I can go and mock this one up myself. Oh yeah, business card. All right. Right. Let's get my logo again. Add this to a business card with add the logo to a pile of business cards. The business cards have rounded corners and a satin finish. The logo itself has a spot gloss finish next to, I can't even type, let alone write prompts. Next to the pile of cards is a matching green box using the same green color, and the box is the correct size to hold 250 business cards. Both the cards and the business card box are on a wooden surface, are on the same wooden surface in the reference image. And then we're going to go and grab, where is it? The image from before. Oh yeah, look, yeah, there's another one. The certificate thing. How long would that take for me to do? Obviously totally useless for anything, but it's just flipping insane. What did I call it? Is it Firefly stuff? Yeah, this one. There we go. Right, well, this is going to be interesting. Just check I'm using the banana. Yeah, gotta say new. Exactly, Victoria. Must specify that. Please mock up this logo for this client on an old, dirty, bashed up air conditioning unit that looks as if it's seen better days. That's exactly what I want. Ah, okay, right. That's a good enough starting point. Edit image, right? So we need remove, remove, remove the mug and focus and zoom in on the business cards. We'll do this first. Then what I would probably do, once I get the composition of this right, I would design the business card. We might have time to do that actually. And then I'll get it to mock up that design onto the card because I'm not going to mess around with it trying to position the logo. It's much easier for me to set up the design. And I think this is one of the good things about the Pro Banana now is that it's very good at like having continuity between images. So the same person or character, the same scene. So I'm hoping it's going to adjust the camera. I'm not very good at getting it to adjust the camera the way I want. So in my head, it's kind of like a more top-down focus on the cards, but that's not quite what I wanted. That could be another angle for the room, but it's the cards are slightly different. So let's go back and zoom in slightly on the cards. Keep the business cards and the box exactly the same. Do not actually no, I don't want to put do not radically change the image because I don't know how it's going to interpret that. Yeah, I know, I just decided new box. Pomeli AI. No, I've not tried it yet. I'm just sort of mostly playing around with the banana. Oh, okay. Let me copy that. You've sent me the information about your logo. Let me just write that down somewhere. By the way, the link that you can see pinned at the top of the stream, basically what I'm going to be doing is launching a new logo design program at the start of next year. And this is going to be a 6-week program where people can work with me directly to design a minimum of 3 logos. So it's going to cover the software at the beginning, Illustrator or Affinity, the logo design process. We're going to work on 3 logos together. You'll design it, send it, I'll give you feedback, we'll iterate, we'll cover presentations, stuff like this, and then how to set up your portfolio as well. So in 6 weeks, you can literally have not only a bunch of professional logo designs you've created, but you'll know the process. And essentially it's 6 weeks where we can work together and I can try and download as much of my brain into yours. So we'll take your creativity, your ideas, your sketches, your designs, and I'm just going to give you the knowledge and the tools to kind of realize that, but at a professional level. So that's what the link is at the top. If you are interested in that, and it does sound like something you want to do, that's the list to get notified when it goes live. I think I'm only going to have 10 places because I'm only one person and I don't want to overload myself. So if that does sound interesting and you want to grab a spot before they go, then you can sign up there and you'll just be the hey
run to it
run
go, go,
run
go.
to it run to it go go go.
It'd be amazing
if you want to be one of the first to know when that goes live. This is right, so that is exactly what I wanted pretty much. That'll do for now. I could muck around with the prompts and get it to put the cards in the middle, but that's fine for now. Right, so what have we actually got? I've got a bunch of images now. We should have enough. Where are they? Boo boo. Right, that was one, wasn't it? The van's another one. So let's put those in. What else was it? Terrible knackered out AC unit. And the contract. Yeah, that was it. Headed paper. Yeah, that was one. Where's my knackered AC unit? There it is. Right, let's get those in. Boom. Business cards. And again, this is the kind of thing that, you know, it's good for a client to see, but it's also good for us to see, because until you actually mock up your design on something, you're not necessarily going to know if it's actually good or not. And so by going through this process, we can actually help ourselves see if something's good or if it's absolutely awful. And then I've got to Tetris this into place. Ooh. That sticker is so... the AC unit looks so knackered. Oh dear. Yeah, so I'm not going to muck around finishing that too much. Then we could put some descriptive text on each one showing it, but you can see how quickly it is to mock stuff like that up, like the business card here. So if I wanted to actually go and do that, what we could do is just do a really quick card. So what would this be? 85 mil by 55 mil. Let's unlink that. 85 mil by 55 mil. That's definitely not. Is that right? How do you get it to look that crisp when screencasting? Oh, thank you. That's very nice. I'm streaming at 1440p. So that's kind of not 4K, but it's not 1080p. So it just looks a little bit crisper. But it's not too like crazy on the internet. Yeah. Sometimes you've got to mock stuff up, and it's not until you mock stuff up that you realize that it looks awful or terrible or needs tweaking in a certain way, or you're like, oh, that doesn't actually look good at all. I think as you get more experience, you get a sense of like, oh yeah, this is going to look good, or no, that's not. But sometimes, you never know until you see it mocked up. It can be like, oh, whoops. We are only human at the end of the day. Oh, Andrea's back from making her sandwich. Right, so logo. Let's quickly throw together the fastest business card in the world. We're just going to add some text. We need a name. Victoria. Pixel. There we go. We could even use the same font, or we could just pick a different font, just a normal one. Nothing fancy. There we go. Victoria Pixel. What job would you like, Victoria? Enviromac, what would you like? We'll get a phone number as well. So this is UK number. So +44, blah, blah, blah. Just make up some totally random gibberish. That's definitely not a real phone number. Fax. Does anyone use fax anymore? Probably not. So let's ignore that. Email, victoria.pixel@enviromec.com. If that's their website. No idea. Doesn't matter. Right, we'll copy that as well. That's the website. www. Does anyone use www anymore? It's just kind of a given, really, isn't it? Spacing. There we go. Ooh, weird visual glitch there. That was odd. Okay, you can be marketing manager. There we go. Marketing manager. Victoria Pixel. This card, it's not going to win any awards, is it? But there we go. It is a business card and it has edges. Let's we don't need to round that off. Let's centralize it actually. We'll go central. We'll go central, center to the logo, centralize the whole flipping thing. There you go. Beautiful. Nice. Marketing manager. And then we could take the green, same green, and we could why does it come through as red? There we go. Why not? You could add some other stuff in the background. But serviceable. And then we'll export that whole thing as a JPEG. And then we can just take that mock-up and say, oh no, where's it gone? I'm so crap at navigating this. There we go. Right. Where's it gone? No. Rectangle? Is it that? There we go. And the text. No. Add the design from the reference image to the mockup. Keep the text on the reference image exactly as it is and make the logo a spot gloss effect. Can't spell clearly. Something else we could do is, depending on the image, we could just get rid of the logo from the mock-up and then manually Photoshop it or Affinity-ize it, whatever. But I think because this has got such crazy depth of field and spot gloss effect and all this stuff, we're just going to do this. See if it handles the text. If it doesn't, which it doesn't always nail it, then, you know, we're going to have to do something else. I made pasta with cream and chicken breast, Dan, not a sandwich. Very nice. Oh dear, I said breast on stream. That's cause for demonetization. YouTube's going to come after me now. We're talking about chicken. What are you talking about? Affinitize. Yeah, it's a good word, isn't it? I like that. I want some cream pasta as well. You can't tease us like that, Andrea. It's not fair. You're going to cause me to eat soap again. Oh no, you missed that, didn't you? You've got no idea. I ate soap today. Like a big boy. Or an idiot. One of those two. Not sure which. Question. Issues with PDF export and multi-page simple document with a few layers in the embedded files. I've not really exported any multi-page documents yet, I'll be honest. With embedded files either. No. Yeah. I don't know. The thing's escalated. Oh goodness, it's totally... What the flip? It's not even... What's... Oh, hang on, I'm using the wrong reference image. Damn, you bloody idiot. I'm terribly sorry about me. Right, that's the image. Yeah, there we go. There shouldn't be a mug. It's just me screwing things up. So yeah, we've got our design there. That's pretty cool. And again, that's something that you could bring through into this as well. You know, you could kind of bring that into this mock-up. Yeah, this has turned out pretty well, actually. Nothing you do surprises me anymore. That's what I said earlier. That's what I said earlier, right? It is what it is, you know. Yeah, so see, this kind of ballsed up the text here. This isn't usable at all. So instead, I'm going to say remove the logo and the text from the business card. Keep everything else the same. Because that's just no good. If it's gonna generate something that I look at and go, that's crap, it ain't getting out the door to a client. There's no way that a client's gonna see something that looks rough around the edges like that. It's just not going to happen. So we're just going to have to add it ourselves. Yeah, there we go. Right, download you go. So we'll bring this into Affinity, and we're going to have to do this ourselves. He says begrudgingly. How dare I do things myself? Right, let's take the business card and we'll stick it over there. And then we're going to take the text. Ooh, I've not really done this in Affinity before. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Right, so we're going to go into Pixel, shrink it down. We're going to have to heavily skew this. Oh no, the logo's gone funny. Scaling. Right. Oh, is this perspective? Ah, yeah, there we go. You should be able to get this looking decent. Do do do. Dee dee dee. Yeah. I mean, the quality here is just so terrible. You definitely need to upscale it. I mean, we could try and use Affinity's upscaler. It is behind a paywall. It's behind the Canva Pro subscription. Some images it works well, some it doesn't. No, I've not. I've had a bunch of random things happen, Daniel, but I've not had the design appearing outside the canvas. But I have had lots of random things happen. Nothing that's really driven me insane and stopped me working. But just odd things I've noticed. Yeah, so I mean, it makes it better using this feature. It goes from pixelated to slightly cleaner, but you can it's very mushy, you know, it's not professional. You know, so I think if speed is the game and this is going to be like a quick presentation, it's good enough. You know, it's not, but if it was like a high end, if it was like really high end stuff, or maybe even if it's not, I'd probably still lean on a mock-up. You know, I think what I would probably do is I might use, if I needed to, I might use AI to generate certain parts and then refine certain parts myself in Photoshop. Do you know what I mean? Like a bit of a hybrid. So yeah, if it's certain on-screen uses, you might get away with it. Where's my text layer gone? Is it this one? No, this one. Yeah, certain on-screen uses, you'll get away with it. For print stuff, I don't think it's going to cut the mustard. Unfortunately, it's just not high quality enough. Right, can we then blend this? I don't think we can with a live filter. Oh yeah, there we go. We can. Sometimes they're a bit funny. Yeah, we just bring that down a little bit. Just makes it look a little bit more realistic. And then we've got some very heavy depth of field here as well. So what we could even try doing is if I select the text, we're going to go and add a depth of field, have a tilt shift, and if we move this into position, so here it's in focus, let's crank the blur up. So you can see if I bring this in. Oh my goodness. There we go. You see, super blurry. So it's like a gradual blur. So we'll keep this part all in focus because it's in focus here, but then it kind of gets a bit blurry towards this end. So we're just going to have it blur slightly like this. just so the text matches the blur of the business card that we're mocking it up onto. Does that make sense? So again, we're just going for realism. You know, it doesn't. It'd be nice if it's all in focus, and we could spend time refining that to get it that way. But it's more about selling the idea of how it could look rather than this is the exact design. Yeah, and doing it myself that way, I've still got full control as well. In fact, I think all the text is fully editable. Yeah, so I can still go and change the text, and it keeps all of the perspective. So that is kind of where I think using AI to generate images kind of becomes a bit of a hybrid. You know, obviously getting around the quality issue as well. Yeah, what is this? What is going on here? Quick, clip to canvas, hide everything. I mean, we could even adjust that. So yeah, we could make it bigger actually, so it fills the frame a bit more. Yeah, that's a bit better. So the business card is a bit more of a bit more focus. Obviously, the quality is going to take a nosedive, and then we could go and work on the vehicle graphics. We could dump that into the other Affinity file and start designing the vehicle graphics as well if we wanted to. But yeah, you can see it just kind of gives you a sense. We could even do the letterhead as well and add some text there, dear sir, madam, blah 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 blah, just to kind of give a sense of how it could look. And then another page I like to have is a page that explains the logo, explains a little bit about it. So we're speed running this here. There's loads of pages you can include on this. I don't know. I think a lot of the issues that I have are probably psychological. No, I think the issues that I have in Affinity just are weird glitches, just weird visual glitches. So breakdown point number 1. So this is what I would do. I'll have a title, we get some text, fill it with placeholder. I don't really have a favorite font for corporate design. I don't really do much client work these days. So I couldn't really answer that question. Why is it not letting me adjust the text? That's really silly. So I have placeholder text, but I can't actually adjust. Like, how do I? Oh, I suppose you just. Oh, that's clever. Oh, it just adjusts. That is too clever for me. I'm not that clever. That's really good. Okay, I like that. I'll shut up. Sorry, Affinity. That's actually quite useful. Right, so we'll bold, blah, 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 blah. So this could be like, this is my first point I'm going to make. This is the second point, third point, fourth point. How you present this is entirely up to you. I'm just kind of throwing this in there as an example. Sometimes it's nice to just get everything in there and then you can finesse it and organize it. So maybe this has got a bit more information. This one here has got a lot of information. Wow, that placeholder text is very smart. Much smarter than me, that's for sure. And then what you might do is have annotation lines. So we're going to go there, and maybe this relates to something. You've missed the mark a little bit there, Dan. Good job. So we'll do that there. Maybe thicken up the stroke. And then bring this around here. So I'm just speed running this. This is an important page because it gives you a chance to explain stuff. You know, you can obviously talk to the client and have a conversation, but you could, I'll write some examples in a minute actually for what this could be. So go 0.3. And then we've got one more that's going to relate to something. The lines will be in the wrong place, but I'll give you an idea of the sort of thing you can say. It just crashed. Oh no. Dan likes comics. Quiet, you. Yeah, so this could be, custom typeface. Bit of explanation about why it's custom, how it relates to the brief, how the character, why I customized it, why did I pick this typeface, and why it's just flipping amazing. Explain that there. Point two, this could be, the logo mark. So this is going to be, what is it? Fans, sustainability, leaves, circulation, whatever. That's the explanation behind why I went with this shape. Number 4. What else? What other thing could I explain about? Oh yeah, color, of course. Color and sustainability. And you could even, if you're redesigning a logo and it's not like a new company and it's something brand new, you could even, when you explain it, draw comparisons to their old logo. So clean, more minimal design. You could even present their old logo and the new logo on the same page if you wanted to, and then talk about why this is just so flipping good now versus their old logo. If you want to, maybe you gotta obviously make sure you approach that carefully without saying your old logo was shit. But so maybe focus more on the new one, but talk about how it's evolved, and why it's now amazing. And then there could be another point there. And a lot of these explanations you want to relate back to the brief as well. So the brief that we had right at the beginning that is going to come from the client questionnaire. Effectively, what you're doing here is a lot of these words that you've highlighted, these words would be coming from the client and their answers to the questionnaire. So then we're drawing on their own words when we're presenting it. So if they said the logo needs to look sustainable and it needs to communicate this, that, and the other, then you write the logo looks sustainable and it communicates this, that, and the other. So you're almost quoting them back to them, but in a very clever way. And then if they contest it and they say, well, we don't like this because X, Y, and Z, then you have some sort of grounds to, in a very non-combative way, say, oh, okay, well, you asked for X, Y, and Z, and I did X, Y, and Z, you twat. Anyway, no, don't say that. But you can say, like, oh, you asked for X, Y, and Z, and you effectively, you are relating a lot of this. And you can even quite literally say, oh, yeah, I know that you mentioned airflow a lot in the brief. So what I've done is I've tried to incorporate airflow visually in the logo mark. So you are sort of subtly reminding them that this is what they asked for and this is where you've delivered in the design. Without this, it's almost just like there's no real explanation or context. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like what I asked Omega for a minute ago when he sent the logo to me for me to open up, which we'll do in a minute. The first thing I did was ask for context, because if it's just a logo and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what am I looking at? Whereas if there's something that information that I can benchmark it against, it makes it easier. I am still here. We're still at it. Oh yeah, still going, Kerry. Where you been? Causing trouble on your forklift, no doubt. Oh dear. Kerry, honestly, mate, if I could get a photo of you in the forklift, we could run you through a video generator and we could make some serious magic happen. Honestly, like it's a bit dark now, but if you do end up getting a colleague to snap a photo of you doing something, we could make that forklift fly. We could make you fly. We could give you wings. We could do anything. It'd be brilliant. Anyway, right, enough waffling. Let's Open up the design. Oh no, it's on the desktop and I've lost it now. Flipping heck, Dan. You've had one job and you've bloody lost it. Where's it gone? You stupid idiot. Hang on. Did I even save it? No, I didn't even save it. Double idiot. Right. Let's save this. Do you ever get that where you've got your desktop, it's just full of stuff and you can see everything but the thing you need? There we go. Right, I got it. I got it. Let's open it in Affinity. Okay, the brief. FESA, I guess that's how you say it. FESA, First Year Students Association. I went for 3 designs overall. Just the logo with word mark, just the word mark. Tried to implement a star inside a shield for perfection and protection. Shields are very good for schools, actually, generally. Then the star for the word mark. I tried implementing the star in just the A, as in aiming for the stars, and A being a top grade benchmark. Okay, so everything you just wrote in that email there, that's the sort of stuff that you would write in here. This would be part of the presentation. That is exactly the right place for that. Most core members found the design boring. If you could tell how to improve this, it'd be great. It's always difficult when you have lots of people on a committee design, because you end up with lots of different opinions. Fred likes it, Suzanne likes it but wants to change this, Doris doesn't like it altogether, and Mark's just not paying attention. You get so many different opinions, and so it can be a real challenge. But okay, right. First Year Students Association. So is this to do with schools? Like what sort of school, what age are we talking? Obviously a bit older, not like really young children, yeah. Oh, the lives, I normally do twice a week. They're normally on a Monday and a Wednesday now, but this week's been a bit weird. So we normally do the Affinity one Monday and then the Adobe one on a Wednesday. So I think the Adobe one's probably either going to be tomorrow or Friday. Oh, it is a bit difficult at first. Yeah, coming from Illustrator, like I've been using Illustrator for 20 years. Please know it gets better. It really does. It's just getting used to similar tools and how they're slightly different. I'm getting there, so don't worry. It gets easier. You just have to just get into the trenches and start using it, I'm afraid. I think going through full projects like this logo project, even going through this on 3 streams, I've learned more stuff about how to use Affinity and just got used to it. Please do, Kerry. Please do. College of Engineering 18 plus. Cool. Amazing. Okay, right. So hang on. These are 3 different things, aren't they? Before I start, because I saw this at first and thought it was the same thing. So 3 designs overall. Just the logo with word mark. So, okay, here's a question. When you presented this to them, did you send them this as a JPEG, or how did you present it? Did you mock the logo up? Did you send it in a PDF? Did you do any of the stuff we've done today, or was it just kind of sending visuals of the different versions? What was that sort of process? I'm in a very particular design niche which uses the classic 3D extrude and bevel effect, not in Affinity. What was the other thing you sent? I wrote it down. Oh yeah, sorry. They handle all the events around campus. Team of 20 members, all in first year college, 18 years. Okay. So first question, is there a reason why you went with a squared off shield rather than a more traditional shield shape? There's obviously lots of different shield shapes you could do. When I say traditional, let me just get a scribbly thing so I can scribble. You know, you've obviously got the kind of, that's pretty common, or you could then curve the tops and you could have it straight, or you could curve it, or you could have it flat along the top and then have the meat down there, or you could kind of do something like this. So lots of different shield shapes to choose from. It might be worth considering going back to a more recognizable shield. And if they said it looks too boring, actually, let me get the chat up. Oh no! Oh goodness! So they wanted it urgently for the head of department. It was 2 a.m. for me. I just shared a screenshot. There wasn't an actual reason, to be honest. I just thought it gave more of a modern vibe. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely done my share of quick turnarounds before, but I think if it were something like a logo like that, I would, like, nowadays it just wouldn't happen. I would just say, look, delivering it at that sort of that turnaround speed is going to seriously compromise the quality, and it's going to make the process of not only producing a design but gathering feedback on a design. It's going to make it a lot more challenging for both you and for me. So, I appreciate the design is urgent. I could get it to you in X, whether it's 24 hours, 48 hours, 36 hours, whatever. But yeah, I think obviously meeting that deadline and firing off a thing like this, you are gonna open yourself up to lower quality feedback because they're just looking at this. Whereas if they had seen the logo mocked up on workbooks and I don't know, college, would be a college uniform, would it? Do you know what I mean? All the sort of stuff. 2 days. Oh my goodness. Flippin' heck. That's a premium, that is. Huh. Um, then yeah, it's. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm saying it very badly, but looking at that versus seeing it mocked up and stuff is going to make it more likely that they might say it's boring because they're not visualizing how it's going to look. They haven't seen it mocked up on all sorts of different things. So they can't get it. Your idea for this logo, your vision, they're not going to get it. You might be able to imagine it, but they're not. The time constraints are really unfortunate. Yeah, like if someone said to me they needed a logo in 2 days, I'd be like, get out of it. 2 days. Yeah, sure. If I sacrifice my sleep, but what you do is you don't do that. You explain that, oh yeah, like, I appreciate what you're saying, totally get that it's urgent. By delivering it in 2 days, it's going to compromise the quality. My normal process is X, whatever you work to normally. Maybe my process is 7 days or 2 days. And I've done my share of those jobs where you turn them around. And especially when you're freelancing as well, you don't want to turn the work away because you need the work, you need the money. Um, But so I do get it. But at the same time, I think if you explain, and I've done this before, I've explained to people, look, if I do deliver it, we are going to run the risk that the quality is compromised. You know, normally it takes me X, Y, and Z to turn around. And I don't want to deliver a bad logo. I don't want you to have a bad logo. You don't want to have a bad logo. So shut up. It's going to take 5 or 6 days. Don't say that last part. Say it in your head. But do you know what I mean? There's so many ways you can slice it, and you always frame it as a benefit. If you're going to be paying me for a logo, I want to make sure that I deliver the best flipping logo possible. And this logo is going to be on everything. This is the student association logo. This is going to be in so many places. There's going to be so much money spent on this logo. This logo is going to be printed on this and that. There's going to be clothing. There's going to be bags and all sorts of stuff made from it. That's going to cost tens of thousands of pounds. And you want to spend 2 days on the logo? Are you flipping nuts? Again, don't say that last part. Think it in your head. But you see, but you can frame it that way, that this is a super important thing to get right before it gets printed onto lots of very expensive things. There's going to be like a print run of 10,000 flyers or all sorts of materials and things for the student association. You don't want to muck it up, right? You don't want to get the logo wrong. Catch you later, Captain. See you later. Thanks for joining again. The thing is, this is the first in real life client I've had, and in my own college, so I had to comply. Okay, well, congratulations on your first project. That's amazing that you've got the project. You're going to experience loads like this. You'll get more jobs like this. You'll get some where clients are lovely, some where clients are awful. It's just part of it. But there's definitely stuff that we can do as designers that is going to make the process a lot easier. So part of it, at least for me, is deciding how you want to work. So this is your process. This is how you work. If you're still quite new to it and this is your first client, you're probably going to be figuring this out. So, if this becomes a pain in the ass job, honestly, don't worry about it. I've had plenty myself. It's your first job. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn stuff. It's just like anything else in life. Sometimes you just got to go through it. And 10 logos from now, you'll be thinking, oh yeah, cool. I can't believe that project from like 10 logos ago. It's just the way it is. The Discord is a chat app. It's where we all chat off stream. So if you want to join it, it's on Dansky.com. But yeah, like decide your process. And I always explain my process up front to a client. And then I have a contract and a statement of work. The statement of work, obviously in 2 days, it's kind of crazy because you wouldn't necessarily be able to set all this up in time. So this is more for future reference. You have a statement of work. It outlines what you're going to do, the deliverables, the price, how many revisions are included, the cost for additional revisions. So you outline your process and state everything that you're going to do and the cost up front. So there's no surprises. They know the deal. You know the deal. You explain how you work. So this is they're coming to you for the logo. This is how you work. Usually as well, if you say you've got 3 rounds of revisions, extra revisions cost X, and you state that up front, usually they get it signed off in 3 revisions. Because if Bob from accounting wants to be a knob and keep saying, oh yeah, well, I don't like squares and let's use red. Maybe we could try a triangle. They know that it's going to cost them more money. So they might just, the committee might say, shut up, Bob. All right, you're going to get expensive. So it's always good having those up front because then you can kind of bring it back to that and there's no surprises. Which was the first client, Andrea? 1.5 years ago. Which was the first one? It's not the 4-part logo, was it? The museum one? There's no way that's a year and a half ago. Surely not. To the soup with them, yeah. My first client said I was expensive. I charged €5. Sorry, your first client's an idiot. €5 is too expensive. What are you smoking? Flipping heck, €5. Oh my goodness. I mean, the you're too expensive quote is like as old as time, but €5? Come on. Exactly. €5. Oh, flipping heck. I couldn't even go out and buy a whiskey in this country for €5 anymore. I mean, mostly because they don't accept euros in the UK, but still, the equivalent. If you want to join the Discord, Sir Crim, where's my chat gone? Yeah, if you're having trouble joining the Discord, just shoot me an email here and I'll sort you out. I will sort you out. I'll be around later or tomorrow and I'll get you in. We'll figure it out. Don't you worry. Yeah. It might take a minute or two. I know. €5. Oh, I mean, it's a good giggle, isn't it? It's a giggle when you look back and you think, flipping out some of the stuff I had to deal with. Uh, it's good learning how to deal with it though, because it just once you've dealt with stuff like that, I think when you go through like enough um, crappy projects or you work with like crappy people that stitch you up, I think you learn stuff. Like I got stitched up by someone once, and it cost me £1,000, and it was the best flipping lesson I ever learned. So it turned out good in the end because I learned something from it. Some think it's a market stall and they can bargain with you, saying that I've done a few startups at a reduced cost. Yeah, I think sometimes you can as well. Like if you want the work and it's interesting, and or if you really do need it, like obviously there's got to be um some leeway there. Like sometimes if I get like a brand sponsorship and I've got my prices, they're pretty set. But if it's something that I really want to work on and it's like I don't know, like several videos or whatever, like there's always room for negotiation, you know. Um, but I think one of the powerful things to do, especially when you get to the point where you don't really need the work as much, in the beginning, I know you especially need it, especially if you're a freelancer. Exactly, you do live and you learn, but saying no can be incredibly powerful. You know, if someone challenges the price, like for me now, if someone said they don't want to pay it, I just say, hey, that's fine, I get it, I appreciate it, it's a lot. I only deliver, top tier work. If you want to work with someone else, that is absolutely fine. And I wish you all the best. And as soon as you say to someone they can't have the thing, they want the thing. Like it does work. But then you might be like, oh, I'm busy now anyway. Sorry. See you later. My true first client was my mum. Got positive review, no payment. It was busy. I'm a thief. I thought, yeah, you just said your first client was expensive, and I just insulted them. And then you said my true first client was my mum. I'm thinking, oh no, what have I said about his mum? But he put true first client, so they're different things. Okay. A positive review, no payment. Oh, no payment. What's going on? It should be triple for your mum, shouldn't it? Oh yeah, everyone thinks they can do it in AI. Hey, if someone thinks they can go and do what I do in AI, then that's fine. You crack on. You crack on. Like yeah, if you want to generate a logo for 10 quid and call it a day, they're not your customer. Yeah, that's all right. What were the tips? I think font wise, I think it's a great font. I think a lot of it is good. I think I would just honestly, I would just yeah, the star and the A. I see what you've done there, yeah. Because I quite like the way that it doesn't have the logo mark, so you've then incorporated it into the A. You could do that, or you could just have the straight text. Although if they're saying it's boring, I would probably try a version that has try a few different shield shapes, and then I would mock it up on stuff if you've got time. Because just looking at a logo on a solid background, like if I were just looking at this, like it's a difficult one. Is the logo boring, or are they what they're looking at is boring? Because if what they're looking at, yeah, arguably you could say it's boring because it's just a white shape on a black. There's no context or whatever. I think showing it kind of mocked up on real world stuff and then explaining the thought process behind it would help them understand. But also, again, it's going back to them and what do they mean by boring? Is it too simple? If they're saying yes, the logo is too simple, you could say, well, would you like me to make it more complicated or more detailed? Like, do you have any visual references for logos that you all as a committee agree you like? That would be a good one to have. You want to get visuals that all of the committee members say, yes, this is a cool logo. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, whether it's relevant or not, they're signing it off. So if you can get an insight into their brain and stylistically kind of where their head's at, we got to go in a minute, haven't we?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Should we just leave it?
You want to get an insight into. I need to stand up. Karen, you just put me to work, aren't you?
Yeah.
I need to stand up and move my toes.
No, do you though?
Yeah, I really do. And the boys need to go and run. Boys, can you get ready?
Football.
I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. I'll confirm. Are you in the Discord, Victoria? I will. I usually I post a lot more stuff in the Discord about when I'm live, when I'm not. I don't know when the new Affinity for iPad's coming. I would love to tell you, but I just don't know. Exactly, Care. They got to confirm what boring means.
We need to go.
Excellent. Sorry, what was I saying? It'll either be tomorrow or Friday. I will confirm in the Discord. I just need to check what's happening. There's lots of things happening in the next 2 weeks. But we'll do an Adobe stream this week as well. By the way, if anyone is in the Discord, please do pile your work into the submissions. There is a section called Design Review Submissions. And when this builds up enough, I've then got submitted designs to then do a design review stream. I want to review some design work, but the channel's a little bit light on submitted work. So if you do have loads of work that you want me to review, honestly, just chuck it all in there, pile it all in, and then it just gives me like a big pool of work that I can pull from, and we can do another design review, because it's been a minute since we've done one of them. I need to go in a minute, and I'm still in my pajamas. This isn't good, is it? Yeah, if you pile loads of work in, we could do design review next time, tomorrow or Friday. I'm more than happy to do one. I just need work. Otherwise, I've got nothing to review. I think there's a couple bits in there at the minute, but I usually need a good sort of 6 or 7, 8, so I've got enough to pull from. So fill it with work. It's fine. Just chuck your whole portfolio in there. Also, before I go, if you are interested and you want to hear more about my 6-week logo design program that is going to be starting, the first cohort is going to start in January, and it will be open for people to sign up in December, very, very soon. But there's only going to be around 10 places. So it's going to be working with me directly for 6 weeks to create professional level logos. All this mock-up stuff, setting up your portfolio, the logo design process, all that stuff's going to be included. And we're just going to basically speed run you through Adobe Illustrator, Affinity, whichever one you want to learn, how to design logos. You'll be getting feedback from me directly, and we'll be working closely for 6 weeks. And I'm flipping excited, but because I'm only a human being, unfortunately, there'll be 10 places. So if you do want to get notified when that goes live, please do sign up to the link at the top, because people who are on that list, they'll get the email first. And I cannot wait. That is going to be so good. Oh, it's going to be so fun. It's great. I love making courses because I can package up my knowledge, but I really do love working with people because you get to see like an individual's progression and you see them get excited by it, and then their confidence builds, and it's just flipping lush. It's so cool. Oh, no worries, Amiga. Hopefully it was helpful anyway. What's the topic of review work needed? Everything. Send me everything. I got to go now because we're childrening. They need to go and do football, and we're going to go and do something. I don't know what we're doing. I'm still in my pajamas. Anyway, have an amazing evening, and I'll see you later in the week. Bye.